So the hardest part for entrepreneurs when it comes to money is we don't have consistent income. I literally lost every penny I ever made. And it was a very dark night of the soul type moment where it's either, no, I don't, I should just kill myself. And I came to the realization that I had value just because God created me. And if I was valuable enough for him to create, then I should be valuable enough for myself. Personally, for me, my priority is to set the family up financially with enough assets to where if the job market doesn't exist 4 to 5 years from now, then we have the assets to have options.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if AI is going to be turned into a tool for empowerment for creative people and entrepreneurs, or if it's literally going to become the dominant force that humans can't compete with from a cost perspective or an intelligence perspective or things like that. That's more of along the lines of where I see things happening. I look at us instead of AI, instead of humans using AI as the Model T and we're upgrading from the horse and buggy, I see us as the horse that's getting put out to pasture. And so as soon as AI is embodied in a physical format through Optimus in the next 5 years, and every single day it becomes the most intelligent force on the planet, and it can now manipulate anything that a human can do in every way that we can, and then more so. I don't know how you compete with that. And it'll be interesting that all of us will have one in our homes, and that robot will be the most capable therapist, the most capable doctor, the most capable engineer, the most capable repair person on the planet. It'll speak every language under the sun. It will know the answer to every question that you could possibly come up with as a human being. It'll be able to cook any recipe you want, like Wolfgang or your favorite chef. I don't know what happens from there.
That's wild.
And it'll be able to do it at a cost per hour that a business would not be able to hire a human for and stay in business. Right? If it's $1 an hour compared to $30 an hour, $20 an hour, like the business has to take that option. You will find these little businesses that are just human only because other people will want to interact with just humans and not with AI. And that'll be cool, but that'll be the minority. That'll be kind of the cool, eclectic experience in the future. But everything else, from an economic perspective, will be forced to adopt to what's more efficient.
Yeah.
So...
fascinating.
Yeah. And so from their generation perspective, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm taking it on me to at least make sure that we have equity in those AI companies. So accumulating as much as we can in companies like Tesla, accumulating Bitcoin, accumulating gold, just accumulating the assets that will provide leverage as the dollar continues to get devalued, and then equity and ownership in the AI network itself, which I think is the best way to hedge against that kind of disruption. So
yeah. Let's keep talking about investing. That's a subject I wanted to explore with you as I look at you as somebody who's made some really good bets.
Bad bets and good bets.
Bad bets also, for sure. Yeah, you've got some experience, as most investors do. I don't think anybody's batting 1,000 on that. What's your current stance on investing? I know you just touched on it a little bit, but if there's more or you want to expand on that.
Sure.
What's getting your attention?
My philosophy these days over the last couple of years has turned into accumulation, specifically, being an entrepreneur and an investor for the past 20 years. I've done and tasted everything. I've sampled the entire buffet of everything that you can do, from investing in private equity and startups, to gold and silver, to multifamily real estate, to stocks and everything in between, crypto. I've done all of it. And what I've figured out is that the old guys always had it right, which comes down to, if you want to build real lasting wealth, invest consistently over a long period of time into real assets. That's all you have to do. It's not magic. And if I had literally done nothing but just put the money I made into the S&P 500 and skipped all of the other stuff I do, I'd have 10 times more wealth today than I had if I had started that 20 years ago.
Right.
So zero risk was necessary on my end to actually build a massive net worth. And some of the risks that I took won, and a lot of them didn't win. So you kind of go in circles when you are in a risk-taking mode. So I finally figured that out at 47 years old. So now it's all about following that model, investing consistently over a long period of time in real assets. And for me, real assets are defined as something that will be in place 30 years from now.
Okay.
And from an AI perspective, it's, again, accumulating as much equity as I can in the leading horse of the disruption chain that's coming. That's by far and away Tesla. In every vertical category that there is, they own it and will continue to do so. Whenever SpaceX, I do have equity in SpaceX that I bought 4 years ago in a private placement. So whenever that does go public, I will continue to accumulate shares in SpaceX. And then the disruption AI is going to cause is going to lead to it's going to lead to massive deflation. Because when you have basically free labor, the prices of everything are going to come down. And that's not necessarily a good thing because that can affect earnings and stock prices and other things like that. You'd say, oh, that sounds great. It can be at some point, but if everybody's expenses don't come down as well, and you've got $10,000 a month in expenses and the business isn't making as much revenue, then they can't afford to pay you anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So I think AI is going to cause massive unemployment in the next 5 years. I think we're going to have a giant market crash. It could literally start this year or next year. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and those jobs are not going to come back. They will be replaced by AI. Mm-hmm. And so what do you do with that portion of the population? It might be as high as 50% by 2030. You have to set up universal basic income, which is then going to fall onto the government. They're going to have to print more money to do that. So this year alone in 2025, between January 1st and today in September, the dollar has lost 11% of its value.
Hey, fellas, just breaking into the conversation real quick to tell you about an awesome event that's coming up in the Brotherhood on November 13th. I'm Matt Sprang, and I'm going to be facilitating the Ignite Your 2026 Goal Setting Summit. This is an impactful, interactive 3-hour workshop that's going to be taking place. I'm going to be joined by 2 rockstar front row dads, Matt Drinkon and Scott Groves. And together, we're going to help you establish the goals that is going to make your 2026 the best year of your lives. We're talking personal, family, business, whatever it may be. This event is free to all Front Row Dads members, and every member gets to bring a guest. So if there's someone in your life that you know is going to feed off this energy, is going to contribute to this energy, we want you to invite them. And if you're not yet a Front Row Dads member, all you need to do is go to frontrowdads.com/summit to get your ticket for the event. Or you can just click on the link in the show notes.
9 months, man.
Wow.
11% of its value in 9 months. Like if you had dollars in your bank account or anywhere. And that's going to continue because they're going to have to continue to have this game continue to go without just completely falling apart. They're just going to have to continue to print more money and devalue the dollar. And so to hedge against that is Bitcoin and gold. And so I think if you just do those 2 things, you don't have to get super creative here. Yeah. I think that's how you protect yourself moving forward. And for me right now, it's just, I really help people set up automation in their financial lives. It's the single biggest game changer that we've set up in our life in the last 2 years is setting up automation. So there's a service called getsequence.io that's $15 a month, but it's an automated money router. You connect if you're an entrepreneur, you connect your merchant account to it like Stripe, or if you're a W-2 employee, you have your paycheck sent to that bank account you set up with them. And then you go into your dashboard and you set up if-then rules or percentage rules. So we have, I think, 7 different accounts set up at Frost Bank here. You can set up at Chase or Wells Fargo, wherever you bank. And ours is set up as business expenses, personal home expenses, investment. We have a fund money account for me, a fund money account for Michelle, a family travel account, and then a charity account. And so we just set up a percentage of every dollar that gets brought in automatically every single day gets dispersed into those accounts according to those rules.
Yeah.
And that's changed everything because now it's the Dave Ramsey envelope system, just automated. I don't have to think about it. And then I can set up rules where every dollar that comes into the investment account, we have that set as 30% for us right now, gets automatically sent to our brokerage account. And then in brokerage account, I can set up rules where every time a dollar hits the brokerage account, it gets invested into these 3 stocks.
Wow.
Right? So literally every day.
Automating everything.
It doesn't matter if $100 comes in a day or $10,000 comes in a day. It just literally makes us a little bit richer every day. And it removes the human aspect of it, the human emotion aspect of it, the volatility that humans bring to all of this, the lack of discipline, the lack of habit, and it removes that from the equation. And the moment you do that, man, your net worth just goes, wow, that. So that's what we do, what we teach people how to do. And that's what we'll focus on teaching our kids how to do in the coming years.
Yeah.
Is setting up that system and the rules behind it and why. And it makes the it makes money really easy from a relationship perspective. If I want to go buy a new gun or whatever, my fund money account, I can go do with whatever I want. There's no discussion involved. Michelle can go do whatever she wants. And that's just made things super simple, man. Yeah. It's been great.
Wow. That's amazing. Where are you teaching that also through your email list? Are you sharing that?
It's Richer Every Day.
Exclusive just for that?
No. I mean, we just made this super cheap. It's at Richer Every Day and it's $37.
Yeah.
We just would take you through the whole process in 65 minutes.
Yeah.
And the second half of that, which is very important for entrepreneurs, is setting up a service that allows you to invest up to $140,000 a year if you're married, and invest that into whatever you want, gold, crypto, stocks, and never pay taxes on the gains for the rest of your life. So typically the way you would do that is with a Roth IRA, but you'd only be able to invest $7,000 a year as an individual, $14,000 a year as a married couple, which is fine if you start that at 20. It's really hard to make a dent if you start that in your 40s or later, right? With this strategy, you can set up the same type of account. It's a Roth IRA account, but now you can 10x the contribution to $140K a year for a married couple or 70 for an individual. Well, now that gets super exciting. And so our number one goal is all of the money that goes from Sequence gets directed into this brokerage account until that gets maxed out at 140. And then we can invest that now in Tesla or Bitcoin or whatever we want. And when those cycles top or peak, we'll be able to sell all of that and not pay taxes on any of the gains. So $0 in taxes, and then reinvest that at the bottom of the cycle and just continue to play those 3 to 4 year macro cycles without any taxable gains. And that takes now, in the past, that strategy took about $5,000 in 3 months to set up with a financial advisor. Now it takes $50 in about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So even setting that up for your kids now, but setting up in your life is the single most important thing any American can do. And it is limited to Americans as part of our tax law here.
Yeah.
So if you're in Canada or outside the US, sorry, you don't have that, but that is one of the nice things that we do have available to us here now. And man, that adds up quick.
Yeah. And how do you do that?
That's through a company called Carry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Where I'm always fascinated with, I'm interested in the learning aspect of how you get to this point where you're the teacher. So, you have this wisdom, you have these brilliant ideas, you get to share them, but take me back to the learning about this, because I want to know what your habits are for learning. What are you reading? Where is Mike Dillard developing this wisdom?
7 years on the couch with nothing but an iPhone.
Yeah.
I freaking love learning, man. I always have. And so, I might watch 2 TV series a year that catch my interest. The rest of the time I'm on YouTube and I'm on X and I'm just absorbing everything about everything. I mean, during 2020, when I was really on the couch every day and we're going through the pandemic, I became like a 2-year expert in everything that has to do with overlanding and RVs and camping and all of this stuff, because that's what I wanted to go do. But I'll get super OCD about a topic that I'm interested in. I'll just take a super deep dive for a year on that and figure everything out and then implement it in my life and figure out if it works or not. But I just love learning. Yeah. So
who do you think are some of the best teachers, channels, authors, whatever?
Yeah, it's a good question. Most of the people I follow are on YouTube and they're not your traditional experts, right? Like a Robert Kiyosaki or anybody like that. I would say, or probably our mutual friend, but who has a house here, Mark Moss. His work on macroeconomics has been phenomenal. George Gammon, Invest Answers, Tom Nash. Those 4 guys specifically, I watch every single day and have for years, and they're at the cutting edge of finance. And they've got really good long-term, conservative, but highly strategic approaches to money, meaning they're not talking about playing money games or chasing money games. how to get rich quick shit. It's like, no, we're looking at the systemic changes that are happening in our society. How do we take advantage of those from an investment perspective? How do we do it responsibly? And that's what I'm into as well. So
yeah. What percentage of your time do you put into making money directly to invest? And how much of your time into the actual investment of the capital you have?
How much time into the actual investment of it? I mean, I'm going to put that into my research phase, right? Like information consumption phase. I want to say 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably spend 3 hours a day consuming content, and a lot of that's in the car. You know, I live an hour from Austin. So on my drive here was an hour. I'm literally consuming those podcasts and watching those updates. So it's not like I sit at home and I'm just on my phone all day. It's primarily when I take my son to school. He still goes to school in Acton. And so that's roughly 4 hours a day of driving. So to and from school. So that's my university time where I'm listening to this kind of stuff during the commute. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What about your kids inheriting money? What's your take on?
Man, that's a super hard topic.
Yeah.
I spent some time on this probably 10 years ago when I was in Tiger 21, because that's a big topic that's discussed in that group, which is basically a mastermind group for high net worth individuals. And that's a big topic. And then, got sick. So that became not a priority anymore. But the way I think about it right now is I want them to have access to funds at some point in their future to ensure that they will never be in danger, unable to take care of themselves on this, whatever may happen. If I died tomorrow, like they're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But I think as we really start to sit down and think about this more in the future, Michelle and I will have to figure this out. But just off the top of my head, the plan would be that a certain amount of money would be unlocked when they're 35 to 40. Mm-hmm. They've gone through a long enough period to figure out a lot of what not to do. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it will depend on how we watch them manage their money. Are they managing their money responsibly? Do they have a system in place? Mm-hmm. Or are they like me and they make whatever and then they go buy stupid shit with it when I was young, right? So, I don't know if there's going to be maybe little tests that are set up around that, but around 35, 40, whatever money we have made available, because we have talked about this, would potentially be open to use for them as long as it is invested in an asset. Mm-hmm. And then we have a advisor where if Michelle and I die, a friend that we're very, very close to, who's very successful financially, another father as well, who's basically will take on that role as the administrator of the trust that we have set up for them and provide them guidance. And he would basically have to approve where that money goes to make sure it's used responsibly. Yeah. So we haven't gone super far down that rabbit hole yet. I'd imagine we will in the next 4 years by the time they graduate. Yeah. I'm literally rebuilding, our financial foundation after 7 years of not working. So it's not like we're in a very, very good place compared to the average person, multiple 7-figure net worth, but coming from an 8-figure net worth down to that is still a massive, a massively different position than I was in 8 years ago.
Yeah. So, how does that feel emotionally for you?
It's totally fine because, this experience came with a ton of blessings. And I think in year 2 of it, I literally lost every penny I ever made. So I put all of the money I had, millions of dollars, into building out Evergrow, which is my hydroponic startup. And then millions of dollars into the Self-Made Man e-learning platform when we had that. And then just before those got launched is when the brain injury happened and I couldn't work anymore. So all of my chips went in and then couldn't work anymore, couldn't make any more money, but expenses stayed and went up from a medical perspective. So yeah, second year in, I literally had to borrow money to pay my bills 1 month. But that was a really powerful experience because it forced me to I realized that my identity was tied to the amount of success I had and the amount of money I made. And I was not aware of that until I didn't have that anymore. And that was kind of stripped away. And then I was like, oh, okay. Now that I'm not able to actually contribute to society and all of my money is gone and all of this stuff, do I actually have any personal value? And it was a very dark night of the soul type moment where it's either, no, I don't, I should just kill myself, or yes, I do. And I remember the moment when I had to go through that inflection point, and I came to the realization that I had value just because God created me. And if I was valuable enough for him to create, then I should be valuable enough for myself. So I really let go of money at that point. And the next 2 years, it was just about paying the bills and survival. And now the best part about going through that process is that it forced me to look at money in a very different way. All of the same stuff that you've been through from a psychedelics perspective and a deep inner growth perspective. I got to let go of all the stories from youth of not being good enough that drove the drive to acquire money and make money, and all of that stuff got to be let go. So, now I drive a Ford F-150 that's fully paid off. Michelle drives a Tesla that's paid off. The Ferraris are gone. All of that shit's gone. I don't really care about that stuff anymore at all. And so now we're building a foundation that's super solid and that will compound for decades, rather than, because being able to make money, make millions of dollars a year at a young age is a blessing and it's a curse.
Yeah. The
curse is you take it for granted. You don't take it seriously. And so I had to go through that cycle. And then after you lose everything, you're like, oh, okay, it's actually important to be conservative and build up wealth for the long term. So, yeah.
I'm really happy for you on that journey, man. Sounds like you're in a great place.
Yeah, the hardest thing that ever happened to me and the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If somebody had, 10 grand to invest today, where would you advise them? Let's say they're, 35 years old, they got 10 grand and they're like, where do I put it? Is it all in Tesla, half in Bitcoin, half in Tesla?
Well, if they're not an entrepreneur and they don't have a business, then it's in themselves and the ability to start a business. That's your single biggest wealth driver for $10,000. Yeah. If you've got a business and you've just got an extra 10 grand laying around, again, I would say that's going into your own personal development, going into a Tony Robbins conference, coaching, whatever it may be, until you get up beyond that point. Let's put it this way. If you've got a 10-year-old that you want to put 10 grand into an investment account for them, since they can't start a business or make their own money, right? Then, for me, it would be probably a third in Bitcoin, a third in Tesla, and a third in QQQ, which is an ETF of tech companies that kind of is like the S&P, but more tech focused. And off the top of my head, ballpark there, might change that a little bit and put 10% in gold, but that's how I would go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if somebody had 100 grand, would it be the same advice?
Be very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I know that you've been excited about Bitcoin for a long time. And every time I see that number creep up, I'm like, damn, Mike was right.
Man, I started buying in 2013 at $78.
Yeah.
And I bought 300 Bitcoin. And everybody's like, you lucky, dog. And I'm like, actually, no, because it got stolen 6 months later when Mt. Gox got hacked.
Yeah.
So I had to start over in 2017 with everybody else. But
jeez, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That'd be $35 million today. And the question is, would I have had the emotional intelligence to have kept that? Probably not. And that's the answer that most people will tell you, where it's like, oh, if you got lucky in Bitcoin, the amount of people who bought Bitcoin back then and who still have it is very small. Because guess what? When it hit 20 grand, you probably went and bought a house or a supercar or Lambo, whatever it is. When it did the same thing at 65, you probably did the same thing. So there's a very good chance I probably would have put it into shit coins and lost it all at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, dude. Yeah. And last question on investing would be, is there a common mistake that you see amongst entrepreneurs, small business owners, kind of in the 30 to 50-year-old range, which tends to be
1,000%.
What mistakes are they making?
So the hardest part for entrepreneurs when it comes to money is we don't have consistent income.
Yeah.
Right. For me, my business has always been very launch focused. So feast or famine.
Yep.
I have had some periods where I've had consistent income, but that's the exception. And as an entrepreneur, we're wired to take risk. We couldn't do what we do without that in our nature. And the problem is when you take that same comfort level with making money, you're naturally going to apply that to how you invest the money. So high risk, high reward for how you make it. You're going to apply high risk, high reward to how you invest it, which is how I ended up in Bitcoin in 2013, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. At the end of the day, that comes down to a neurological addiction to adrenaline. And most entrepreneurs, at least until you're 40 in your 20s and 30s, you will have a subconscious addiction to adrenaline, and that will manifest in the way where your business gets successful and stable, and then you have a new idea because you get bored of, well, now I want to go do this, or now wouldn't it be cool if we could do this, or now I'm bored, I want to go start this company. So you'll find as soon as things get to a nice stable point, that adrenaline stops. Within a year, you're going to be super agitated, and you're going to want to find something new and different to do. That's what that is playing out. I used to think that it's like, no, I've got to go do something cool and make a bigger dent in the world. It's not. It's an addiction to adrenaline. So the key to in building wealth, invest consistently over a long period of time in real assets. How do you invest consistently when you're not making consistent income? If you have feast or famine and money comes in, well, now you've got a backlog of desires and goals and dreams that you've built up to take that family vacation, buy that car, do whatever. You go spew that money out, and it turns into what I call the make it, spend it, risk it cycle. So you make it, and then you spend it or you risk it. And then it starts over again the next month or the next quarter or the next year. And entrepreneurs get stuck in that. I got stuck in that for 15 years. And the last big piece of the puzzle is most entrepreneurs don't have a plan. So when money comes in, and if they don't have a conscious plan for that money, then it ends up in the hands of somebody else who does have a plan for that money. Porsche has a plan for it. Lambo has a plan for it. Apple has a plan for it. Gucci has a plan for it. And not only do they have a plan, they have the best paid, most intelligent people around the world working by the hundreds, whose sole job is to extract it from your wallet and to put it into their bank account. So if you don't have a plan to battle that, you're going to lose that every single time. So that's when the automation comes in. Yeah. And if you look at Robert Kiyosaki or Dave Ramsey's books, they gave us the blueprint for building long-term wealth over the past 20 to 30 years, and it's not hard. Invest consistently in real assets over a long period of time. That's all you have to do. So if they've sold those books by the tens of millions of copies, why isn't everybody rich? Because it doesn't take a lot of money, and it's not hard to follow. It's very simple. You don't need to be someone special or have anything special to execute on those plans that they handed over to us. So why don't people follow through with them? It's because it requires discipline and habit change, and then the discipline to maintain that habit, even if it's literally putting money in an envelope like a 2-year-old could do. And so when you combine the inconsistency with now the requirement for discipline and habit, which changes basically on a daily basis based on our emotional state, you're not going to follow through and execute on that. And so now with the technology we have, we can take the human out of it and all of the inconsistency. So even if you make $100 today or $10,000 today, it's still executed according to the plan you've set up automatically without your involvement. And it literally just makes you richer every day. So that's the ticket to making all of this work.
Yeah.
So
I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So funny, man. During my walk this morning with James, I was talking about this realization over the last number of years, but even recently, like in the last several months, how I say I want peace, and I don't think I actually do. It's something I say. I want like peace and consistency, but my track record is that the minute I have that, I do everything to disrupt that. I want adrenaline. I want excitement. I want adventure. I do exactly all of what you just said. You know, we get something clicking and I'm like, time to level up or reinvent or something to shake things. So it's constant, hey, what's the challenge? How do I overcome it? Almost like I became addicted to having the problem and overcoming it.
Your body's addicted to cortisol.
Yes, that's all it is. That's 1,000% it.
I went to Utah 2 weeks ago to do a 4-day water fast by myself.
Yeah.
I was literally going, I ended up in Wyoming, Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
So I ended up driving 5-6 hours up to Jackson Hole. And I'm going to go camp out in BLM land, and I'm going to look at the Tetons, and I'm going to do a 4-day water fast is the plan, right? So I've got all my stuff. I get there. I have my tent set up, and I got to a place where I didn't have intentionally internet or phone access. And I wanted to meditate and I wanted to journal and read a couple of books that I bought. And once I got the tent set up and I put the chair and I'm just kind of sitting there overlooking the mountains, within 30 minutes, I'm agitated. Like I'm physically agitated. And I'm like, oh man, this is that need to be doing something and have some form of stress coming in.
Yes.
And without it, my body doesn't know what to do. And so it created it where storms coming in. I didn't bring the right gear. I've now got to go leave that night at 9 o'clock down the mountain, get a hotel room. Like it turned into a 4-day shit show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really did. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I get it.
I went last year, to Vipassana, 10-day silent meditation retreat.
Wow.
I did it. Yeah. I completed it. Perhaps one of the most difficult things ever.
Yeah.
But dude, I put my phone away. They take your phone essentially.
Wow.
And I was walking down to my dorm room and I was there for 10 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, what did I just do? Yeah. 10 minutes in. And then after half a day of total silence, no stimulation, I thought I was going to die. Yeah. And then a day goes by and you're like, I just meditated for 10 hours today.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to do this again tomorrow. No journaling, no talking to anybody, just me. And I would be in this room with nothing, a twin bed and a toilet, like prison.
Yeah.
And then day 2, and you're like, there's no way I'm doing 8 more days of this.
Wow.
And it was the most difficult.
Did your nervous system hit an inflection point where it switched off?
I can't, I wish I had, no, I think I just realized how difficult that was for me. I don't think I hit a Zen state of like a real, I just became aware. I became aware of it. Yeah. And I'm still in that place. It would be like my family's around and it's total chaos and everybody's getting ready for a trip. Let's say that Tatiana and the boys are going to go somewhere. And it's madness in the house. And I'm looking around and it's just messy. And I'm like, I can't wait till these guys are gone. I'm going to, right? And then I drop them at the airport. I walk in my house. It's so quiet. I'm like, this sucks. I don't know what to do with myself. Bring back the chaos. Yeah. That has been a fascinating thing for me to realize about myself. And I can see it playing out in my investments. Yeah. And I would save money.
Or buy and sell.
Yeah. And then something would come up. I'm like, I can always put more money back in, and I would liquidate everything. Yep. I was famous for liquidating Bitcoin just before it went crazy. Yeah. I remember talking to Hal. I was like, dude, it's at 12. I think I'm going to let it go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then it went to 65 after that.
Now it's 120.
Yeah. So crazy.
And it'll be $1 million in a couple of years. So.
And I held though from the 50 to 120, which was good.
Nice.
Okay. So investing, anything else on that subject to close out? Anything I didn't ask you about that I should have asked you about?
I mean, we could talk 3 hours about it, but that I think is a nice encapsulation at a high level of really easy ways to change somebody's life financially that they can literally do in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
I think you hit the nail on the head, for me at least, with this automation piece, taking the emotion out of it. Obviously, it's not something I'm hearing for the first time, but I always hear it differently at different ages of my life. And this is hitting me.
This is new. This has only come out in the last 24 months.
This software that you're talking about. Yeah. Very cool.
Thanks for listening today, fellas. If you got value from this episode, I ask that you take 1 second right now and you share this with another dad in your life that you respect, that you know is committed to becoming a better man, family man, and businessman. And on that note, I want to honor you for choosing growth. Your family will thank you years from now for all the effort that you're putting in to learn the strategy so you can show up more fully for them today. Take care.